All right, let's move forward and get started on the budget workshop, please.
After crunching numbers all week, I'm trying to add in what we've added in the last workshop. What it's coming down to is, if you look at water, which is number 2 on the top. Okay. Water sales. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th line down. We're at, last year we budgeted $1,600,000. Today, as of July, we were at $903,000. It's going to be real hard pressed for us to reach that $600,000 in 2 months.
$700,000.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now, it was a wet year. Well, basically, the long and short of it, revenue last year was overstated by about $500,000. And anyway, if we get another wet year, yeah, well, yeah. But if you look all the way to the right on that column, what I've done is taken the 900,000 and estimated if we continue at the present rate to the end of the year, which is 2 months, we'd get $1,084,000. Okay, so you got quite a shortfall there. If this happens again next year, we won't be selling $1,600,000. Same thing with the sewer services.
That's the piece on our water bill?
Right.
Sewer, okay.
Yeah, you'll have sewer, water, trash.
What do you think sewer was down so much?
Well, it goes by the,
That'd be by meters, right?
it is by meter.
So we
Sewer?
We're charging everybody on the water bill, right? Isn't that where it comes from? Sewer?
Yes,
Based on water use.
So anybody that has a meter gets a water bill, pays sewer.
Correct. If
right,
they're connected to the sewer, there's some people that aren't connected to the sewer.
that is true.
Oh, yeah,
Some
like
people
present,
have
aren't
a
they
septic
septic?
system.
Yes,
Like
if they're septic, then they're not, they're
But they're not.
It just seems like that'd be a hard number to miss when we know how many meters there are.
Yeah, exactly.
There's approximately 1,900 total meters.
Anyway, so, if you're gonna be, unless you want to the possibility of overstating by a large amount, we're gonna have to look at the $1,600,000 versus the $1 million that we're estimated to end up with the rest of the year.
So it's probably better to understate than overstate.
Yeah,
It is.
Okay. So it would behoove us to lower that, both of those numbers is what you're getting at.
Right.
Okay.
What he did.
Yeah.
Now, if you,
That's the beige number you're proposing,
right,
or the orange or
I guess April 5.
paper.
oh my gosh.
now, I think we settled, if we did a shop for $1,500,000, we would cover the current expenses. And
Are you talking about $1,500,000 on the total or
on the water sales. On the water sales,
Right.
Total revenue.
right,
So that's just banking that next year won't be so wet.
right. And we'll sell more water, but I really
There's
don't
no
know.
way to guarantee that.
Yeah, but I don't know that we're gonna do $1,500,000 either.
Based on these
Very
numbers,
scary to gamble.
Based on these numbers, I wouldn't put that on.
Right. Now, problem is our bond payment is really high. It's gonna be, let's see, estimated. Yeah,
10 for one and 85 for the other.
right.
That includes the admin.
Yes, that includes the bond. With all the expenses, okay, you got right at $2 million expenses, $1,924,967. And that's basically taking last year's budget and trimming it really hard.
Where did you pull that number from?
It's on the very back page.
Last page.
But what is that number derived from?
It's the totals of each and every department. So you have non-operating water, water plant, water distributions.
This is the requested total?
Yes, this is the budgeted total.
So basically, we're $100,000 short on our budget from, no, we have $100,000 surplus.
At 1,600,000.
But if we cut that number,
You're gonna start trimming that and it'll become even and then you start going into arrears.
And
okay, wait, this is,
what do you, I mean, what's the solution to that?
Well, we trim the budget or some more.
You're basically saying leave it the same or trim it. Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
I've gone through and the numbers we talked about last time are on the right.
Okay.
Okay, it has the colors with it. The yellow is kind of what we were playing with. Green is what we'd all kind of decided on during the meeting. If you see the numbers in the column.
So yellows are still tentative, greens are kind of firm,
Well,
kind of firm, I mean, nothing's solid.
right, that's what we had talked about in the meeting, is what was in the green. Now, I went back, and other than salaries, because some of the salaries probably need to be looked at again.
Overtime.
Well, all the overtime. So at this point, really, the best way to control overtime is not to allow any unless it's approved.
I agree with that.
I think it should be approved regardless.
Right, and that'll,
With the exception of like an emergency.
well, but even then, that can be approved,
Right.
right? So no overtime at all unless it's approved.
Like this.
Even your water department, they'll go out or they'll try and finish up things unless it's an emergency. There's no reason not to delay it till tomorrow or something like that unless somebody's house is turned off. Then again, all you gotta do is pick up the phone, call supervisor, and it'll be approved.
I like it. That could seriously cut back a lot.
Ought to have a record.
Well, how do they do it? Don't they
I
just
agree, I think our supervisor should come back to you anytime.
Anytime.
If he approves on the fly, say, hey, I did this, man.
Right.
Because the
That's,
supervisors know now when the people are working overtime.
yes, more or less. The water guys may get called up, whoever's on call, and he may not contact the supervisor till the next day.
Okay,
Now, if he makes a call, a judgment call, well, I'm gonna go out and get the sewer machine because the sewer's backed up. It's 11 o'clock at night.
currently the supervisor doesn't always know.
Right.
Okay,
So he may make that judgment call. So now it won't be approved unless he makes a phone call.
How does on-call work? They get on-call pay for being on call for the
They
weekend?
get an hour just for going out.
Right, so, okay.
And
And then
then,
that tax on to their 40 that they already had for the
Yes.
week, or whatever, okay. That's
is
fine.
there like, gonna-
Basically, every call is overtime.
right, yeah,
Is there a mechanism to where you can be sure that they know a job is coming up in 2 hours and they're putting it off till the last minute where they can do it on overtime?
that's why there is no overtime.
Okay,
That's, I like that.
You got a lot of work, 8 hours at night, you can just tell them, go home, 4 hours extra each.
Exactly.
will there be like a form or something?
Yes.
And
Yeah, there's
For each time
something
with an
in,
explanation of,
Time Clock Plus, there's a spot in there where you can monitor and approve overtime.
so you can watch and
Right.
make sure that,
But if there's no overtime, then we should have no overtime unless it's,
Well, I can see like your street department, I mean, your
Well, there's
street,
a-
water department's gonna have need, because they're on call.
they're gonna have some
I
need.
don't see any need for overtime up here in this building.
No,
I
no.
mean,
No, I mean, we're just gonna go across the board no overtime. And the water department may have an emergency every once in a while, but
Yeah.
if it's not affecting the water tower, then,
then they can come back tomorrow.
right. Even if that, I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes they run across leaks that have been going for 2 or 3 days, and then decide all of a sudden at 4 o'clock they need to go ahead and fix it. So that's why, yes,
Are you counting the police department and across the board?
no,
Okay.
no. This is just for street and water, this side of the house.
everyone else.
Well,
Everybody's-
you was talking
Well,
about
your overtime as well, sir.
You were talking about this building.
Yes,
Bonita has to work sometimes forever to
yes.
keep up with some of this stuff. Now, I think overtime should be approved. If it's you approve overtime.
Yes.
I don't think she should have to work all day on Saturday.
Agreed.
But is she salary or hourly? Is she salary or hourly?
She's on salary, she,
No,
oh, you're not?
Anyway, so overtime will be just, unless it's, now,
I'm saying it has to be approved for you.
yes, of course. Well, I'm
That's what we're
saying
saying.
all of it needs to be, you know, even the supervisor, if he gets a call, you know, needs to come to me and explain to me why they chose to go ahead and do it. That way we can push this.
Correct,
overtime
nip
issue
in the
down.
bud a little bit, you know.
Right.
I like, it's a big expense.
All right, so how much does that save us?
Yeah. But
Estimated?
the question though, is that doesn't change the budget overtime yet. That's just saying we're gonna stop approving it. Now we need to look at what the budget overtime's gonna be.
Right,
So we
right,
still need to have some budget in there, right?
right.
Sure.
And we do, I took about half of it out, you know, if you go through, as we go through some of it, a lot of it's been taken out, you know, to, 'cause you know you're gonna have some,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
You're gonna have some.
If the rain comes and I call the street guys to come put up barricades,
Yeah, you call it.
yeah.
Not too many bucks,
Right,
but as long as it's controlled. The other thing beyond overtime is on the chemicals. You added 10.
You talking on the water plant?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What happened there?
well, nothing,
Just the expenses going up each year for the.
well, we're trying to gauge for some expenses to go up. You know, these are commodities, just like oil and gas.
That's
And
what I'm asking.
right, so, I mean, you know, you don't wanna, your sodium manganate to have if they have a spill down in Houston and it goes up 10%, you know, we don't wanna be caught, because this is where we make our money, here on the water. So,
Okay.
we'll probably need to go through and hit these salaries one more time. Bonita and I went to sit down, went through them the other day, but, you know, there's some in there that have new rates figured, like, say like the police department, a lot of their new rates are in there. On the right side, I moved it over and then plugged in just the old numbers like we had last year. But we're just gonna have to firm up some of the positions and whatnot. But, so salaries may move around a little bit. If anything, they're going down. Not the dollar amount, just the salary as a whole. Which affects your benefits and stuff like that, so. But,
So is Randy staying on for a full another year? We're budgeting for a full another year at the water plant?
he is at this point, part-time. He works Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And what does he get paid?
I don't know. I don't know what the hourly rate is, but
Is it an hourly rate or is it a,
yes, it's an hourly rate.
so how much do we have budgeted for?
What page you on?
I'm
Water
on
plant.
page 1 of the O2 packet.
It's the first line under
First
water
line
plant.
of the
Oh,
water
okay.
plant.
And see, this is one that,
Because it looks like he's making about 40,000 maybe?
yeah, but
No?
no, that would
I
have
don't know.
been,
I
Not
don't know how
part-time.
much Ryan and them make.
I'll have to get to the numbers, but that's why we need to go through and figure out. Because we took what we talked about last time, incorporated it.
Mhm.
And then Ryan brought me his budget, he's telling me he would really like to have another person, and then we could,
Yeah.
you know, drop Randy off, you
Well,
know.
I mean, we can always use Randy as, you know, pay him a daily rate or
Consultant.
a consulting fee.
Right.
I mean, and I know that that's expensive,
Retainer
but it
consultant.
but
Right,
it might still be less expensive than keeping him kind of, you know, on part-time.
right, no, and that's something we can look at. The thing is, you know,
I didn't know how the pay was broken down out there, is what I'm
Right.
asking.
but using him 2 days a week might be better than hiring somebody as a third rotation, right? I need to look at it and see,
Yeah.
Hiring a B or hiring another just a C?
just to see.
You think
Finding a
C
B
would be-
is,
Yeah, that's like,
My husband's a B, but
yeah, but he doesn't want to come work.
no, yes,
what I'm saying is finding a B is way harder than finding a C.
I know.
Now, we've identified a C that might be
But you're saying
interesting.
that Randy would be less expensive than a C?
If he's
Yeah,
working
2 days a
part-time, it may only be $20,000.
He's
Okay.
making 26, Randy is.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's
But
not,
half is what he used to.
Yeah.
yeah, that's not bad. I just didn't know what the number
Now,
was.
see, if
Or
we
he's
hire,
make 40 or something like that.
if we hire a new
But,
person,
yeah,
it may be 35, 36, somewhere into there, 32. So it may be cheaper to keep Randy on. We've got a guy identified in Winters.
Does he help enough as, as far as day-to-day, what Brian needs? I mean, I know he's very good at knowing
Right.
how to run the whole thing.
Well, like when
Does
they
he
had to go to
provide-
school, he basically had to be at the plant because nobody was in
Well, sure.
town. So both of them left, so he was there.
Well, on a daily basis.
Well, the thing is, you have two people, and someone's got to be there all the time,
Yes.
or responsible, or on call.
Mhm.
Okay, so if one guy goes on vacation for a week, who's gonna cover it?
Yeah.
Or is he just gonna work 24 hours a day? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've gotta have a third person.
Yeah, I know there has to be security.
Right, and if I can get Randy at half price,
Yeah.
okay, then that might be the cheaper option.
Well, he doesn't have insurance and all the other stuff as well.
Yeah.
Right, that's true. I mean, because if you hire, say we hire this guy from Winters, he'll need to move here. He doesn't want to move here. So, I mean, it's just, you're gonna have to have insurance and all this other residual stuff. So having Randy there is just kind of an insurance policy at the moment.
Well, I think we spent enough time with Randy.
Okay.
That's 2 day horses now.
Okay, so what I've done, I've pretty much gone back to some of the old budget. If there's anything in there that you feel like you,
Yeah, so remind me again, the yellow is what we had tentatively talked about.
yes,
The 1920 requested is where we're coming in from last year's budget. It's
yes,
kind of just a carryover from last, okay.
yes. 1920 is last year's budget, then we have the requested budget, then we have in the notes, that's kind of what we talked about last time.
Okay.
I just copied and pasted over.
Gotcha.
And
So looking at I'm just trying to find some discrepancies, like different lines, like things that are out of balance to me, like postage and office supplies in the water plant.
right,
Number 5052, they actually spent 5,000 this year.
right.
They want 1,500 for next year.
Well, I think 1,200.
Okay, so the yellow,
The yellow was what we talked about. I knocked it down to 1,200.
gotcha. So that's your number.
Right, right. Because we're just,
So we're wanting to go with that column,
well, yes, that's what we're looking at
You want to
today.
go with the far right column?
No, the
the
one,
one that says requested, the request.
Oh,
this one right here.
So that brings me back up to the 1.6 million.
so we want, but
That's,
we don't want to do one.
Well, I don't know that we'll make it next year.
Right,
I don't think we should bank on it.
yeah,
No.
I don't think we should do one.
So- Well,
Well,
we did, but if that's his requested column, then we need to talk about what are we looking at moving to that 1 million? That's kind of where I get
if you move it to the 1 million, you're gonna end up about $300,000 short
in
in the water budget,
overall budget,
in the water budget.
on the water budget.
So there's nowhere to,
So,
Well, if you trim 300,000,
you budget experts, what do we do? I mean, I don't know, that's where I get, I'm not a budget guy.
so we're probably not going to make it, but we can't cut it because then we won't make it.
you can cut it. You're just gonna have to cut people.
What do you?
But we just talked about,
this-
wait, this water and sewer
Yeah.
department,
Now, the other, you can't,
Some things you just can't cut.
where does our tax rate come to this income? This is not anywhere in this.
The tax rate won't be in the water.
Right.
Now,
so
we
we can cut people.
We could still balance, what I'm getting at, I guess, is that overall with the taxes, we may still balance our entire budget, but just not this departments with these numbers.
possible, but wait till we get to the general fund.
There's
I'm gonna have to take a budget class.
Well, you have basically two different things. You have the general fund, okay, and then you have the water department, okay. Now, we have an airport, but I didn't even put that in there because the airport's fine. It runs itself.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything. Okay, you get your income from water, right? Sales and sewer sales and all this stuff, right? And on the general fund, you're gonna have sales tax and property tax and some other general revenue streams, but nothing major. Those are your two biggies. Okay, so if you just break water out and just look at water as its own business,
Which is this first tax.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. If you don't sell enough water, you're not gonna make it next year, right? Unless you start cutting people hard. Now, some things like water plant, you can't, I mean, you can trim a little bit.
not
Yeah.
much to trim.
Well, like the chemicals, you may knock it down 10 grand, okay? And, you know, but, you know, the long and the short of it, if next year we only sell 1.2 million, or maybe even 1.3 million, you know, we still may be in arrears, just not near as bad. But,
Is any, I mean,
you know, we could plug in 1.6 million again.
just know that we're doing that as a risk.
Well, you can, but what do you, I mean,
You think any of this water sales crap is from all that negative news stuff that was falling out last year?
Honestly,
With
we had
the
a-
KIDY news story and everybody's getting canceled because of water pipes or
well,
something?
we had a really, really wet year.
That's all, I mean,
Well,
how does that stop water sales? I mean, if I'm drinking city water,
People are
People are
more.
walking around
really?
you what?
300.
So that's pretty normal, just because of wet season, water sales?
Right.
Because of water yards.
Well, watering yards,
Uh,
watering cars.
Washing cars.
Washing cars,
I got you.
you
It's
know,
not the drinking portion of it, it's the
Not
extra
necessarily.
stuff.
Your base is still there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the extra stuff you get from the extra from when, like
Washing.
now, if people want to water the yard right now, some people are watering the yard.
Right, okay.
So it's
We can always hope too, we
based
don't
on an
have-
average of what's typically spent?
well, this 1.6 was based on, I think, 2016 or 17, what we sold, right? We didn't, you know, we didn't make it this year.
We noticed since we had ground, people just got out of hand of water and they all.
Yeah,
Right.
once they get out, it's hard to get them.
And that's,
Well, for 20 years, we told them to conserve.
Yeah.
And now you say you have water and you want them to use it, but they're not going to do it because they're 20 years of.
I'm sorry for all the dumb questions, I'm just
no,
trying to get it.
no, this is part of it.
I just,
You know, the thing is, you know, and our water sales have actually been sliding several years because of, we conserve water. Your neighbors, you have water running down your street, you report them. I mean, that's how serious it's been,
yeah.
you know?
Hey, let's have a yard of the month club.
Well, that could be something that spurs sales, you know?
I mean,
Only-
I can just go start turning on water as I'm riding my bike. Right?
That'd be even better.
Turn on people's water as I'm riding my bike.
That'll get you.
We can always hope that we don't have any.
So what do we do? Do we just meet it like?
$1,000 before it starts with, I know we spent a lot.
Well, see, we kind of kicked around, Bonita and I, about if you take your, see, all your bonds are based on water sales. Okay, if you take your sales tax, not sales tax, property tax, and tie your bonds to the property tax,
I
right?
just kind of leave everything as is.
Yes, sir.
Well, I asked Bob, I said, what do you think? What do you think we should? You've been around a good while, you've seen a lot, you've been through different years.
Well-
We got it.
If we're at the 1.6, it's not going to work, then we need to say 1.5, 1.4.
I was gonna say, should we meet in the middle somewhere?
Somewhere close, somewhere that's in there, let's move on. We're killing the source
We
of
had
it.
a complimentary break.
Well, do you want me to move on uneducated?
Well,
or-
no,
That's what I'm
I
trying
understand.
to, I'm trying to understand that, because I should know this stuff. So, I mean, I'm not
I
trying to.
apologize, that's just meaning that we've already been through it, so it's like slow.
Well, yeah, but now we're looking at these numbers again, going, well, if we leave it there, we'll be here, but if we change it, we're gonna be short, and I'm like, do we want to be short?
Well, do we want to look at 1.3? So,
That's what I'm kind of guessing, do we go in the middle and just put it there and say, let's go?
Okay.
And that's the budget, sorry, Jason, but that's the budget, it's a projected number. It's
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
I
trial and
kind of
error.
get the overall gist of it, but when you're projecting things, it's hard to project.
Right.
Correct.
So, I mean, we don't know what people are going to do.
Okay,
So 1.3 goes in the requested line?
yes. And everything else, I mean, there's nothing new in there. There's some stuff's going on, but mostly, if you look at last year's budget items, if you look at the working amount of last year's budget, okay, you're gonna have, well, it'll be, I think, a lot less than what even we projected last year. Let's see, at water plant, we projected 931,000. This year, we're looking at 712. So that's quite a drastic cut. Under,
I'm sorry, waste disposal fees right there, why did we go from 75, we're current at 72, and we went to 0?
we're at,
Second page, water.
Okay,
Wait, yeah, which one?
seven down.
on water
The green
plant,
line. Second page, we went to 0.
5119.
waste disposal fees. Bo, do you remember why that was? Yeah.
That's when they hauled the sledge off the mountain, because we
Okay,
still have to do that.
so does that need to be 7,500? Okay. All right. Water distribution, we went down from what we had budgeted last year. Water administration, we went down from what we had budgeted last year.
When you say down, we went down, or we're pulling it down?
We're pulling it down.
Which line are you looking at?
Where are we?
Okay, okay, if you look at the water plant, the green figure in the proposed,
Yeah, okay.
if you compare that to the column on your left, okay, it's gone down substantially.
Right. Well, we just added back to 7,500, so it brings up a little bit, it's still quite substantial.
Well, yeah, but it goes up from 700 and, what's, 19,000 instead of 931,000.
Right, right.
Okay, the next page, under water distribution, you look at the green line on the, it's 370,000. Yeah, and last year, the working amount was 396. Under water administration on the next page, requested amount 128,000. The working amount 136.
Okay, so how are we at 128 requests, and then the notes are showing 197, what that number?
Yeah, that's a big cut.
That's a big jump, a big
Oh,
cut.
well, 197 is what we had looked at.
What are you talking about?
Okay, on the right side, right here, on this side,
Mm-hmm.
it has,
Okay, okay.
197. That was when I added up these,
The yellows that we talked about and all that stuff.
right. And 128 is kind of where we went down to, and 136 is where we had budgeted last year.
So you were able to cut our figures even further, is what you're saying?
Yes,
By quite a bit, but
right, in every department. Trying to drive that price down, or the expenses down.
yes, I agree.
And honestly, if you know, yes, you can build some fluff in your budget, but, you know, if you don't want to have too much fluff in there, the budget really doesn't mean anything.
Right. Our court's just sticking to the lower number.
Right, right. So does anybody have any questions on water?
Looks like you could go down on your sewer department's overtime. You only spent 1,000 last year, you got 2,500 budgeted this year.
Yes. You can.
Drop that down to 1,200 or 1,100 even.
Well, just put in 1,000.
That's line 5023
Yes.
under sewer department.
And the water admin, we cut that in half.
Yeah, except that one half.
42. We budgeted 25. Water plant, we still have quite a bit in there. We took it from 20 to 10.
Yeah, put that on there.
Yeah.
I like 50% cuts in that.
And again, if, even the water plant, if we have a moratorium on overtime, they'll have to justify, so-and-so, these guys are gonna be gone, so I'm having to work 10 extra hours this week.
Your after hours work fixed bill, you don't come in late.
Right.
That's
Yep.
what we all do, my current job.
Yep.
Yeah, what's that, you don't come until noon or something.
Right.
But overall, it's gonna be close, anyway. Go ahead.
Still gonna be close anyway.
Yep.
The only thing to keep it being close to get more work.
Yes. Yes.
It's like ginger watery or.
Okay. Are y'all ready did y'all have any more questions on water? Okay, we can move to the general fund.
So these are only two sheets you put out tonight, and one phone on
More
one.
than that shade.
Yeah, the airports.
If you got H in the car, I'll have.
Airports and wars.
Yeah, pretty much. We're not doing anything with it, all the numbers. Okay. First line, transfer from water fund. We had $65,000 plugged in there, last year. This year, we were gonna look at 33,000. Yeah, 33,000. This year, we're not putting anything in there from the water department because we need it all in water. Transfer from airport, I think we can do 17,000 out of that account. Ad valorem tax. Last year, we were at our present rate is $1,005,000. If we go to the 8%, we will get $1,200,000.
What are you talking about?
Ad valorem tax.
Going to 8%.
Yes, if we go to the rollback rate. We can go up 8% this year. Yes, we can go up to 8% this year.
From-
Next year,
8% increase.
8%.
yeah, I'll have to get the percentage for you. It's on my other paper. In the
That's a 0.534.
0.5.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we're at a 0.5, and you want to go to an 8 with all
No,
of the
no, no, no.
evaluations?
We can't go to 8. We can go up 8% from 0.52 something.
Very minuscule number overall, really.
Right, yeah.
When you look at the math of it, it's like a tiny, tiny number.
The rollback rate, and I can get it for you, will basically it'll provide us about $200,000 if we take what we can this year without going over the rollback rate.
Okay.
And what it boils down to in the general fund, if we use that rate, the rollback rate, or right to the rollback rate, we'll have $81,000 to play with. So what I've done is taken everything we talked about, moved it to the right, and then came back with our numbers from last year. And I've tweaked them a little bit. But, so now, if you want, we can go through it. Just remember, we only got $81,000 to play with. So,
Total across
total.
all departments, basically. I mean,
Well, for general fund, yes.
okay.
Excluding water, that's streets,
Right,
that's
right.
everything.
Everything in this packet, we have 81,000 to play with.
Yep. That's what you can go up with. So if you want to give,
Standard shopping list, look, we got.
So, water-
Essentially is what they've done on the
street,
school,
you up?
on the school, or was it? Somebody's already done that.
Well, they can propose what they're gonna
Yeah,
do.
they proposed.
Hospital can do it, city, county,
Yeah.
everybody that's a government entity can do it.
County's what I was trying.
Yeah,
They proposed
Yeah,
their
county
8%
approved their plan.
increase.
they are gonna take their, up to their rollback rate.
Even with their hiring
How
evaluation.
does that work though? Is that a public decision or is that just our decision?
This, we would,
You vote on it.
We vote on it.
We-
Two public hearings on it before you can adopt it, but you have to adopt that.
Gotcha.
we would tell,
What we plan to set to.
well, yes, this is where we need to be
Right.
to cover our expenses.
And with a lot of cutbacks, we really need the rollback rate. Even with the cutbacks we
Right,
potentially put in play.
right. And the kicker is, if the water doesn't offset it, that extra 200,000 will come in really handy,
Yeah.
just to get us even above water.
So that 81K, we need to be careful where we give that up because that could be our only little bit of surplus.
Right,
And that's not gonna give us much to build up reserves.
right.
We've got to put back some to get our
Okay.
reserves built up.
We got a grant potentially for paving.
Right.
Wow.
Really, you need to set your budget without the grants involved.
Well, yeah. No, we
Yeah.
were, you just talked about paving this, I think we got a grant coming. for that.
Yeah. Well, we do, and we have, I think there's 150 in here for paving, okay? But that, the grants are just fluff, I mean,
Sure.
it's
They're
creamy.
just extra, we're not worried about those.
Only if you don't have to pay with them for.
So, I mean, while we're on topic of grants, like that grant that I talked about, matching 20%, where does that money come from?
It might come out of the $150,000 in paving, or it might come out of the
Do a
81,000.
budget amendment to move it to somewhere else.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Sorry, dumb questions.
Well, no, because the streets have the same thing.
I don't know, I don't have to make a decision on it.
It may require us to pay some money. It's not gonna be
Right.
extravagant, but, because we're doing a lot of
Or just an
in-kind stuff for
example,
that.
it's like if something like that came up, we could pay
Right,
budget amendment, take it out some other budget if we had to.
exactly. And see
Okay,
that,
okay.
now the budget's starting to really mean a lot, because if you had, say, $5,000 for uniforms, and you're sitting in July and you're hitting, 4,000, okay, you need to start scratching around on where you're gonna cover the rest of the uniforms for. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then do a budget amendment for it.
Okay. So, what are we doing now?
Well, basically, you can go through, we can go through this, just bear in mind, you got about $81,000 to play with. So that's where you're gonna put it. If you wanna buy a dog kennel, that's what you're gonna do.
Well, I guess let's go there and look.
Right now, these are numbers on paper. So.
Right,
Right.
okay.
So what?
The first page is basically your revenue, this is all your revenue that comes in. On the second page, you have your revenue totals. Okay, right below on the requested line. Okay, you'll have at the bottom, this year, if we keep it the same revenue totals, like per month, we might make $3,163,000. Now above that is what we would make next year, or that's what our budget is, $3,234,309. That's with the $1,200,000 you had the lower tax point up to your rollback rate. Okay. The next one is just the yellow lines were added for no reason. The next little group was added for no reason. Police department. Now, if you'll look, okay, over here on the right column, right-hand side, you have all the colors. This is what we talked about. This is, I just reset it back to what it was last year, more or less. And then this is what it was last year, the budget. Okay, if you'll see, on the next page, you have, last year's was 785,000. This year's is 769,000, if, with some cuts. And, I don't think that 600,000 is right.
No, it's not.
I'll need to get that. renew the formula in there. It's pulling over from that. Anyway, so as you go through this, the salaries for your police department, I just pulled it over from last year. Overtime, oh, I did mess with your overtime a little bit.
Yes, if you're gonna leave everything the same, you need at least give me 65.
Okay,
I think if we got 66.9 budgeted, you can bring it down to 65.
okay. So going down, I gave you a little more in office supplies, a little more in oil, gas, and flats than last year. Dispatching service. I was informed today that the fire department got a hard no from the council, the county commissioners. They're not gonna supply anything extra.
That didn't surprise you, did it?
No, not at all.
What do we do? Yeah, I don't,
I say we hold.
you hold what? On the 15th? Because they're asking 55 this year, right?
They're asking 55, I say we don't sign the agreement.
No.
Don't sign it at all.
We're gonna do the interlocal agreement, and we're gonna talk to winners and talk to Miles and all get together.
I like
They
that.
have a whole lot of money, and they're trying to play a card that they shouldn't be playing.
I like it.
And they're not spending anything on the cities in their county.
Yeah,
They're trying
And I've
to
had
pay for things that
I'm
they're
done.
doing this year, but they're not taking into account everybody else is trying to do the same.
Yeah, I'm done with
So
that.
they're paying
Yeah.
with additional dispatcher, they're paying for additional, jailers.
Well,
With that question though, what's the repercussions? If we say we're not paying this dispatching fee, what are they gonna do?
yeah,
They
exactly.
gotta go back and crunch some numbers. They
Right.
got 8 million.
They
and-
can't stop. My more question is, I'm not concerned about the budget, but are they gonna quit dispatching this guy?
No,
Cop things all tied together throughout the county.
right. They're not gonna quit dispatching.
I don't think they're gonna risk people's lives, but I don't want some kind of,
If you look at it though, okay, last year they had $30,000 budgeted. Okay. We gave them the 50 last year. That's an additional $20,000. Okay, they're asking for another 5 this year.
We're only paying them 45.
Are we? Why?
We put that 5,000 extra in there, but the contract says 3750.
I thought the contract we had, those said 55 this year.
That's what they wanted us.
New,
The
okay.
new one said they want to go to 55 to 45.
Oh, okay, so
They went up 10 on Miles, 10 on us, I think 10 or 50 on winners.
So the actual amount is 45,000.
That's what we're paying.
Okay,
Right now. They wanna go to 10.
They wanna go 10 on us.
Instead of 5.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I would
You have that on that?
I would counter propose it at 40. 40.
Zero.
Put 0 on
Well, or 30. I mean, you know,
yeah, go back down one.
yeah,
Well, Miles did almost half, they didn't quite do half, they got hit for 30, they did 14.
They want 55, what's half, that's 27,
yeah, 2750.
27.
Well, they did it based off their
Population.
Yeah, they did the formula,
They
yeah.
had a formula for their population.
Formula didn't work.
They said if we did their formula, we'd be up around 60.
Right.
So what'd you come here to?
Well, we don't know yet.
25.
We're keeping it around between
I
25
go
and
0, but 25.
25.
If they're gonna, these guys do a lot of work for them, and they're ripping them off. $10,000 is not enough.
All the fire departments and all the EMS,
Yeah, yeah.
all first
Got
responders.
our AVs.
Well, I mean, 80% of your fires in the county,
80% of the time is in the county.
80% of the time in the county. No, that ain't fair.
Well,
I don't know what to do, but I don't.
what do you suggest, Pat?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm listening.
I'm having this one.
It's like local county, they don't.
Yeah, about them asking for 55. They went from 30 to 50, and now they
Our
want
legal
55.
process, so you stand out.
And we'll,
That's the question we can
I don't want to put too many colors of bluff, so I don't think they will.
I don't know if the-
Not when you have all the cities together.
That's right.
They still have to
So
call
what do you think we
somebody
should
else.
stick at?
be told what happens.
Well, I mean, you know, what's the other option? You know, to get our own dispatch.
It's over $1 million.
Yeah, I
It's
know,
expensive.
I know.
Yeah. It's
I mean, I don't want to do that,
How
but
long we go 45 though?
I mean, there's a bunch of grants out there we call them, get a start up.
Years,
yeah, but
No, I think they went up.
I don't want to get that
you know what I'm saying?
I want to say it was
down that road too far.
It hasn't been 2 or 3 years,
So
too.
like from 40?
Yes.
Yeah, but you wanna go low on them, you don't wanna come in where you think they want you to be.
Right.
Or you'll
Then in the end, they
Well,
will
they're
be
not,
in the middle.
they're not gonna go for that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you want it to be decent, because if they're working their numbers, the way they have it worked out, it's like 65,000.
But they went
But what
up, they went up not too long ago.
I understand, but they could be asking for 65 and not 55. I mean, you know, so where do we want to pay? I mean, what do we want to pay?
Well, nothing. And that's the real answer, nothing. We don't want to pay nothing, because they're basically paying them nothing.
Right. But are we okay with where we're at, or do we want to go down?
Go down. That's a good number.
Cuts are everywhere.
Good luck.
Well, that's, I mean,
I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, but it's not gonna work.
what can they, like he's saying, good luck. I'm just asking you a question. You say good luck. What can they do if we just don't give them money?
Right.
I mean, we say, here's the check we're gonna give you.
Yeah.
That's all. Sorry.
What can they do?
Yeah, what can they do is the question. That's what I'm asking about is, what can they do? We just,
Are they going to stop services?
are they gonna put a lien on our house, you know?
I can.
I don't,
What can they, what do you say?
they may stop service.
How? They can't not call. If
They
not,
can't,
call
I
comes in.
mean, they can't,
That's what I asked you last
I
time.
mean, really, they don't have to give us, I guess they don't have to give us 911s. They have to give them to the deputies.
right.
Then
They are
their
one of the
deputies gonna be
deputies.
screaming because they're gonna have to be coming from north of the county down here to. So they're not gonna want to do that. It won't last
Anything after
very long.
midnight, they'll be calling from the house.
It's not gonna, I mean, you still got EMS room,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
You're gonna hear it on the radio.
do they charge Ballinger Memorial Hospital for services?
I don't know.
Because they're dispatched out of there too.
They do?
I'm pretty sure they,
All 911 goes out there. So if you call 911 for an ambulance, they direct the phone call.
For the county.
I don't know.
It's a phone call, kind of like Winters and Miles type deal.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Like a self, I don't want to say self-dispatch, but
it goes to their dispatch.
hospital.
I mean, it's just like them calling my office saying, when you need here. Type thing.
Tell me, what is their line item budget for dispatch?
$345,000,
Okay.
and 300,000 of it is manpower.
Is that basically because of the jail?
Uh,
Is that the jail budget?
No, that's just,
No,
they have
that's-
just as a group.
that's just
Just dispatch. Just dispatch.
So they used to use a jailer, a dispatch jailer, not,
But I,
they're all by themselves.
Separate.
yeah,
They
I,
used to use them to watch the female mix.
no, I broke it down and it's just for, I think five dispatchers and a supervisor. Yeah, so their personnel budget is,
Yeah, but if
$345?
you do year-to-date current, you don't know what it is. Are they within that parameter of 345,000 or so?
yes,
Or do
they
they
have a-
make a mega profit off it?
no, they broke it out just like we do. And I think they're going up just a tad bit.
You said 6 people?
Yes, I believe so. 6. So,
And they're trying to have one.
That's 57.5 apiece.
And they don't make that.
but now, that's on 300,000. The 345 is just the
Is what?
peripherals, like office supplies and,
That's their whole budget.
right.
So that's
345.
not just the payroll of those
Because they
people.
make
No,
like
That's what I was.
300,000 is
28,
just the payroll.
32,000.
Well, that's the same thing I was
They don't
talking
make that.
about last year. For no more than they're contributing to us, I think we're contributing way too much.
Right.
Where I'm at,
25 would be,
25 still.
That still puts them at 50,000 apiece. If you
We're
have
still
6
getting ripped
people.
off at
Is anything
25.
else embedded in
It also says
that?
they're-
Sir?
Like,
No,
is
they don't
anything
make
else
that.
embedded in that?
Well, that's gonna be your,
Like tower maintenance or anything like that, though?
in the 345,
That's what I'm
yes.
asking.
Yes, tower maintenance, I think was at around 10 or something like
I'm
that.
trying to pull it up right here. I got their budget. I'm trying to find that section.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
15.
good.
They got salaries, overtime, holiday, sick leave, medical, retirement, dental, office supplies, tower expense, training expense, and uniforms.
Tire expense.
Tower.
Oh,
Sorry.
tower.
Texas and got
You
you.
got the Texas accent?
339, 140 is their total for 18-19 budget.
Yeah, that was
How much
last
is
year.
her salary? Well, I think-
Salary was 33 for a dispatcher. Supervisor's 33,000. Dispatchers is 160K.
So
Overtime,
160K.
4,300.
5.
Yes.
It's 32.
Yeah.
That's better.
45, 445,
Yeah, that's what I was
71.
Well, what that 300,000 included all the health insurance and all this.
Right.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, they got holiday pay, sick leave, FICA, Medicare, taxes, health insurance, retirement, dental, and then you get into office supplies, tower, training, uniforms. 339,000 total.
And see, they'll go up to,
345, 445 proposed this year.
right.
Stan,
Yes, sir.
what do you think on that?
Well, if we're doing 45 now, is that what the total, 45?
They're asking
They're asking 55? I'm gonna fight for them, and we need to hold our ground.
Ground at what? What did we go at them with?
You wanna go 40 or?
Well, I mean,
You're counter offering.
to me, you counter offer, say, hey, you're not paying us for fire services as much as you
Right.
should. We'll deduct it up, drop it down to 20,000, we'll call it even, type of thing.
How about this? What do you think fire services is totally worth?
We're not gonna get hit, it's gonna be him that gets hit.
Yeah.
Understand that in the end, so.
Yeah, he's gonna be the.
Are they gonna stop running 27, 29, or are they gonna?
They can if they want to.
Well,
You got that in your car now.
But you have cops in,
it's gonna be the way they treat them.
but you have cops in, right?
Yes, we have cops.
He's probably right.
Unless we
It's gonna be the
have,
way
It's gonna be the way the relationship is wrong at that
The
point.
way they treat us.
we can't run it. But we haven't had an issue with our cell service.
Oh, okay.
So we can run everything in the car. Granted, CCA, criminal history and stuff like that, we still have to go through dispatch. But then again, if we have
But
turns
the
on.
problem is like 1050 dispatching and things like that. You have to have an accountant for that, right?
Yeah, because all the calls are directed to them. I mean, we can forward our phones, we forward our phones now to dispatch, our main line, 3591, goes directly to them. During 8 to 5, we can not forward it, and we can take calls from the office.
Well, basically, from last year's total to this year's total, it's gone up 5,000, from 339 to, 345. So,
Oh, we were
They're
already
done
being
with
screwed on the.
well, yeah, but I mean, the 5,000 that we're giving them extra for the 55 will go right to their line item budget, and that's whatever raise they're gonna give their people. That's basically what it looks
That's
like.
from each one of them, I mean, that's the winter, they're giving X amount, Miles is giving, so.
No, I'm just, if you look, 5,000 is gonna come out of our budget. Whether they pay or not, I mean, Miles countered at half the
They
price.
want us to go up 10,000, I say we go down 10,000.
I think we're down 50%. But what? Yeah, you can. I mean, they're taking us. They're taking us all the way around.
Go ahead.
Winter's going to work right now.
So, stay at the present rate, counter
Counter.
at 45?
What was it that we were asking for the?
30.
We were asking for,
27.
we were
That's
asking
all.
for 10.5,
But
10.5.
I'll go
And 31.
27 miles.
$500. That was
That's good.
3-year rotation. They would have to budget an additional $32,000.
Hey, double what Miles is paying, just go to 28.
That's good.
What the department is getting every third year.
They're not gonna go for that, Tommy.
I know they won't.
It doesn't hurt to try, but you're just wasting your time.
So if that becomes the question, is if we put it in our budget and we adopt it, and then they come back and say, no, you owe it to us, now what?
Well,
We didn't sign the contract.
We have signed a contract.
We have an interlocal agreement. If we don't read the interlocal agreement, that's what Miles did. They
I don't
basically
want
scratched the
to
number
bust
out.
ties with the county at all. I don't want any hard feelings and all that, but
But do we want to bust our budget just to keep them happy?
no, that's exactly right. We can't.
That's what it really comes
Stay
down
friends
to.
with
is
them?
We're not in possibly the financial shape
Yeah, we're
to
in.
do that. It's
Well,
not.
they got a half cent sales tax that gives them $500,000.
It literally is.
Right up there at the top.
Issue.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What'd you say?
They got that half-cent sales tax coming in that gives them $500,000.
So they're showing it on their budget.
Yep.
Plus they were gonna go with the
We're gonna see
4%
that.
as well,
Yes, the rollback rate.
on that
Or they could
32.
give us a quarter of that back.
That's all there is. Half-cent sales tax, came in at 525,000 budgeted. Half-cent sales tax was 525,000 budgeted, 1819.
Is that just Ballinger?
That's just Reynolds County. That's what they budgeted for their income on that.
It's about the budget, it keeps it clean and polite.
Yeah, it's not,
It's not dirty, it's not about the FD, it's not about the PD, it's just
I
about
agree.
literally the number.
Basically, you can print that off and just circle it and say,
Yeah,
this is
that's,
what we can.
that's why we've got that voter over there, right? Because they needed help in their budget.
Right.
There it was, $500,000 went to them.
and it's been there over 30, 35 years.
And this is for all the cities, miles.
Actually, it keeps the taxes down and reasonable.
It was for tax abatement, yes. To
But
keep
miles
the taxes
and
down.
winters and all, we all come together on this thing.
It was to the election of the people, but yes.
And if you look at it, you know, as long as they've had it, that may be where their $7 million surplus is coming from.
Exactly.
Well,
And they got a $7 million surplus, they can afford
They got
this.
7.
8 million.
They may have surplus, they get the AB tax over the last 30, 35 years.
3 in checking and 5 in CDs, unsecured CDs. In other words, they don't have those CDs going to any loans.
State
or
of
anything.
Texas, County of Runnels, City of Ballinger. On this the 15th day of July 2019, the Ballinger City Council
Wrong
met
button.
in regular session at 5:30 p.m. in the council chamber.
Jason,
Yeah.
So what can we afford to do? Zero.
Zero. Well, that's what we can afford. Now, what will we?
I'm hearing an offer of 28,000.
I think you said double what Miles.
Huh?
I said double what Miles offered. Miles offered 14, double it. Go 28.
28,
27.5.
I'm hearing 3, 4.
I'll go 28 fine.
28,
I was looking at 27.5.
Yeah, 27.5, round up to 28, make it a double of what Miles is doing.
Jason, you're at 28, Rick's at what?
28.
28.
I'm not happy with 28, but I'll take 28 or
Yeah,
50.
that's a whole lot
Did
better.
they make that, did they really make that offer?
What?
The 14?
Miles,
Miles? Yes.
yeah.
I was told they did. They said that they disagreed with it, they made their calculation, they crossed out the number, and they sent it back. They did not sign it.
So they haven't heard anything.
They won't hear it for another week or two from the meeting.
And that was when you talked to
Mr. Snark.
Yeah.
What about, you talked to Miles, you talked to Winters?
I haven't
Not
talked to
yet.
Winters yet.
My guess is they probably paid it.
No, they rejected it too.
Did they?
Yeah, as far as I know, their last meeting, I know they rejected it per Chief Paul.
Okay.
Let's go at 28.
All right. We'll make a run at them and see what it is. All right.
Moving on.
Lord,
Yeah, a little bit.
Patrol cars. I just backed it off to 12.
And it needs to go back up to 15. If we're not gonna, if we're not gonna budget for a new vehicle.
I think this year we might need to just depend on our grant.
So, because, I mean, right now, my oldest one, I'm spending $6,000 a year.
I totally agree. We need to do something. That's 9 years old. The next oldest one is 7 years old, and they're past their prime.
with the 6,000, you're making a payment.
And that's just to keep it, I mean, it's held up to duct tape.
It's just-
$6,000.
Detail only going together.
It's got too many miles on it, it's been abused by all the robocalls.
Amazing wire I get for free, but duct tape.
What about this lease program?
So, yeah, what about the lease
That's what
program?
I was fixing to say. This
Is it
lease
not-
program
That's at
is down.
$687 a month.
Well, what we,
for 3 units.
Is
Yeah,
that
when I went out and got these numbers, that's for 3 units, fully equipped.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I don't have it.
Say again, what?
60,000. That's 3, on the numbers for the lease,
60,000 apiece.
yes, it's 3 vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
fully equipped. All you need to do is
So
plug our
it's
computer.
enterprise,
Hmm?
enterprise.
no, it was,
No, lease experts.
we had a quote from Government Capital and then lease experts. And then you hit another one?
I haven't heard back from anybody but those 2.
Okay.
talk to Enterprise?
Enterprise,
Will they fully equip a car?
Well, they're doing Coleman's and ours. I mean, I don't know much about the police department, but we're doing our fleet program through Enterprise. They're the biggest car seller in the world.
Right, Enterprise rental car?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
They sell more, and that's what their power is, because they can get the car dirt cheap.
Right.
And it'd be worth a call. I got the contact guy who called them through the Ballinger.
I can call them, send me the contact info, yeah.
Because this is not terrible.
No, but if it can get better than that.
Is this 687 for all three vehicles, or is that,
It's,
wait, documentation and legal, 687?
yeah, that's just for the.
Documentation.
That's what we have to pay on signing.
Okay.
I defer the payment 6 months.
Mhm.
So if we do 4 years, it'd be that 64.
But what we also too, I think we did 6-year turnaround.
There's 4, 5, and 6.
Option.
Right.
So at 4 years,
I don't have to
that's
pull up, what was the year?
12,000 a year.
I got it here.
What we have budgeted here,
I didn't.
but we might look
What'd you ask?
better.
I didn't have it, I don't have my copy, you know.
Oh,
I'm gonna go here.
Pat, don't you have one? The lease one?
Yeah,
It's right there. Pat has it.
I was just saying, I've got it on my phone, but I didn't have it.
Yeah.
Got it. But I remember,
Sure.
I looked at
what we
it,
talked
I
about
didn't remember.
was bought 3 vehicles, it's gonna be $180,000.
You can, there's no mileage cap, you can trade them in, you can sell them, whatever.
We would need
Well, on these, on
$33,000 a year. Is that
on
what it
these
is?
leases, at the end of the
If we did a
year,
6-year.
at the end of the term, you own it.
Yeah, you own it.
But that doesn't really mean anything.
It's not worth much.
Yeah, I mean, it may be worth, yeah, 1,500 at most.
Don't buy it back.
Yeah.
Give it to them.
Put a mannequin in one park and stand.
So that's what I.
That's what I'm
There you
thinking.
go. We got 2 or 3.
Put it somewhere for a spirit.
What they doing wrong?
Well, you know, if you put one out on the highway, it might slow people down.
It will.
Slow down for me.
They do that.
Nice.
You know, seriously, that's a good idea.
It is a good idea, but then you lose revenue if somebody does. But they do.
Yeah.
They used to. Is it not there anymore? I haven't been there.
No, it's not there.
Okay, so we're gonna get another bid on cars.
Enterprise,
Yeah, we'll talk to Enterprise. We'll leave this at 15,000. I mean, even if it goes up a couple thousand, it's not gonna hurt anything, as long as we don't do that throughout the whole thing.
You wanna say 16?
And then
So
we
we
have.
can go back to the dispatch and drop that down where we have $33,000 to play with a year, and bam, there's some cars.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The
Now, I've got office equipment here.
It needs to go back up to 15
Why?
because granted, CopSync comes out of that. The software program comes out of that. And we haven't paid that bill yet.
Okay, so this is CopSync.
That's office equipment, CopSync, the software.
Okay. So,
Maybe we should break costs down into a different line item?
we'll just need to change that line item from
Okay.
office supplies to
I
CopSync.
mean, it's still, I mean, we still get office supplies out of that.
Well, that's it.
Pen, papers, printer.
You don't really require a lot of office equipment other than your printer. Okay?
Printer, paper. We go through
Yeah,
paper.
that's a supply, not equipment. It's semantics, we'll work it out. It's no problem.
Computers.
So I was not, I mean, even talking about, everybody's doing their own computer stuff, why don't we have like the computer department handling the computers on a separate budget section? I mean, is that worth doing? I know that's how my company does it.
Yeah, but that's private individual. This is government.
Well, not just that, I mean, would it be worth it?
I don't know, but it could keep it more straight, I mean,
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, we don't have that much turnover on computers. If you were turning them over, 2 or 3 a year, probably, but
yeah.
I don't know that it'd be worth it.
Okay.
It's actually probably easier just to do it under office equipment. Radio is stayed the same. K9, I zeroed that out. We're gonna have to figure out if you want to do that out of your $81,000 you got to spend.
On that budget line, it should just be, it should stay at 4,000. That's the yearly maintenance throughout, that will stay the same.
So what about, I was thinking about things like, you know, you talked about having to have special yards type stuff,
Well, how you gonna buy the dog?
Special what?
Well, I
like fencing.
got that in another line.
I talked to Bill Hancock, he had a lot of experience with, canines in Austin. He said his projection is way low.
Yeah, it's gonna be, Coleman, we just shut ours down, it was costing.
This isn't the dog, this is just care and maintenance per year.
Yeah.
That's just care and
How
maintenance.
much
not
were
the dog.
they, how much was
How
it?
much,
I think they figured it was about 30 a year to carry the dog with all the expenses.
they shut it down.
I just couldn't justify
Thing. Do we have,
Did you check with Miles and Winters to see what their numbers were?
I can tell you, hold on.
Do they have dogs?
Yeah, pull up their budget.
Well, Miles doesn't, Winters doesn't.
Winters is on
Paris
the-
and, no, the
Sheriff's
sheriff.
Department.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to build in some overtime for the officer who has the dog.
Cause they,
Reach some type of.
He's the only one.
well, and from my understanding, he's gonna get called on every damn call.
Pretty much. But that's what we said in the other meeting was, we gotta
Have parameters.
have that target time of the day that he works, that's gonna work with most of the guys that are doing the drug bust or the chasing the drugs, which would be the night shift. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, the law, the case law says that they're usually entitled about 3 or 4 hours a week overtime just to, brush the dog. feed the dog, take it to the vet.
The numbers I got
Yeah,
average around 20 hours a month of mandatory overtime to take care of the dog, training, whatnot.
it's all right.
Then the question I guess becomes, what's kind of a guess on income because of the dog, right? Because you said there's some
I mean, it,
Benefits.
benefits to
there's
having a
benefits
dog.
and seizures and,
The Caesar's is where it gets big.
yeah.
If you get a good dog and the dog does seizures, it's gonna pay for itself.
I know we can't project it, but I mean, what is an average on a department our size for projected seizure income?
It just depends
Well, how
on,
much do we get of that?
Yeah, that's,
I think it's a 60-40 split.
Here's something, Tommy, thank you, Teresa.
Well, thank you, Bob. I
Bill
appreciate
said
it.
that percentage was on his way off.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean,
But I have to rely on a source of understanding.
well, I mean, Pat saying Coleman had a dog and they had, what, $30,000 expense?
Well, what's Winters having there? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean.
I'm looking at the Reynolds County, I can't find a dog in here. I looked under sheriff's
Well, Dawn
office budget.
owns hers. The county doesn't pay for Dawn's.
Right.
That may
You
be,
need to look at Winters.
Don owns hers, the county doesn't pay for it.
Correct.
I think they give her money.
They probably-
You're gonna say that doesn't work out.
But it's the dog first.
Yeah,
well, I'm
but she
sure,
went to the training and everything else, and they hired her, so they got
Pay her
her.
to go to training.
Yeah.
I go to training.
Who's training and overtime?
Right now, you have a
Is there
zero.
something on the
Sure.
big side
Right
of
now,
it
you have a zero there.
that you just salary? I don't know.
I think that's zero.
Stay away from that line.
well,
Salary the handler.
30,000.
Where'd you say you got the expense at,
We
chief?
got 80,000.
Out of our 30, out of our 80,000, yeah.
I just asked Paul, so
Yes, sir.
How much do you spend on this getting thrown out?
what is total budget?
Yeah, how much you spend on cases getting thrown out?
We spend, well, a lot of manpower. A lot of overtime. Because, I don't know, an average felony case roughly takes 5 to 6 hours to put together. That includes collecting in the evidence, sending the evidence to the lab. So you got postage, you got everything else. So you really don't have a number for it.
Wouldn't let them send it portion of the bill, because it'll have to be the whole thing, papers and all, and
Yeah, I mean, we do electronically now, so it's all on thumb drive. So I really couldn't tell you on how much a case, one case would cost.
You need to review their website.
Well, you know, I don't know that the dog is something we need to do this year.
Bo's even shaking her head.
Where did you have, you had the 4 in the canine, where did you have the other expenses in?
I put it in capital expenditures.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
He's the one on the hooks, ain't you, Bo?
The rest of the training will come out of the training budget.
In the trend.
Out of the actual,
Yeah.
Okay, so you had 9,000 plugged in for capital expenditures.
Yes.
Okay, training. That's schools?
Schools.
Yeah, okay. That's when we got 15,000 plugged in there. Okay.
How much did you cover year-end salary adjustment? Isn't that those Christmas ones?
I do not know.
Isn't it, Steve?
Yes.
I'm opposed to that.
did you have?
Year-end salary adjustments requested $10,226.
Well, that's what I asked for was for all the certificate pay to be put in your salary adjustment.
That's my fault. I missed that one.
Anyway, I think every department ought to come in here and ask for the same amount of Christmas bonus. I do not think the city taxpayers should be buying employees, giving them Christmas bonus.
Well, we
I'm
give
buying
them,
them Christmas,
They
I
get
don't
ham.
give them turkeys and hams, anything beyond that, I don't agree with.
yeah, turkeys and hams, I'm good
I know
with.
that,
Other than that,
but when you budget $50,000 for Christmas gifts,
right.
if I were Jack Watkins, Scott Watkins, I'd be in here wanting my share.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's year-end salary adjustment. We'll need to back off a little bit.
And what?
Well, I think it's a misnomer, salary adjustment. That would be for where your raises are supposed to go, right?
No,
What is it?
that's, actually a year-end, salary adjustment for all employees. And they get it based on the number of years they've been here.
3% or whatever it is?
No,
Okay, so what would that need to be? Last year it was 2,176. Would that be about the same?
yes.
So we're just giving raises based on if you stay, how long
No,
you've been here?
I don't. Explain that to her, Bo.
It's not a raise, it's just a
Isn't
year.
it Christmas gifts, Bo?
Yeah, but you can't call it Christmas.
I know, but that's what it is.
Yeah,
Right, is that the only department that has that?
no,
That's where your
but
turkeys
he's,
come from.
he's one, he's putting his
It's for employees.
certificate pays in there.
Yeah, I was gonna put my, because our certificate pay comes out of our salary line. So every year our salary is gonna be over budgeted,
Okay.
okay? I was gonna put all the salary, or all the certificate pay in with the year-end adjustments, because it's once a year.
What is certificate?
Yeah, but that's,
Certificate,
It's on the certification.
yeah, I mean, there's 4 levels for
Based on the certification.
Yes, based on, basic, intermediate, advanced, and masters, based on years of service and training.
Okay.
And a lot of departments go to that just to, give it a little extra.
Incentive.
You have an advanced certificate, here you go, type thing.
so it's a one-time payment per year, per certificate type.
Once per year per officer, depending on who has it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And that was part of what happened years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago, when, I'm not gonna remember the guy that came around, that was something they did across the state
Yes.
with all law enforcement.
And, I think the advance was $1,200 for and you get something. So,
So it's basic, intermediate, and what?
Advanced
Just three
and
categories?
masters. I think the intermediate's like 900, advanced is like 1,200. I think the masters be set for 1,500. That was set a long time ago as an incentive to the officers.
And how much is the
To help
basic?
with the training, you know, you go do the training, here's your rewards, I think.
How much is the basic?
Basic, there's no basic. It's just from intermediate, advanced, and masters. Because basically you get it straight out of the academy. Type thing.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, that's where it starts.
And we could leave the year-end salary adjustment and just make a new line for that.
You could if you want to.
So new line, what's it gonna say?
Certificate pay.
And I can do 6.
And I can give you those hard numbers if you want to tomorrow.
Okay.
How much were you budgeting for certificate?
He's gonna give it to me tomorrow.
I don't see, we were talking about winter's budget for the dog, I don't see their budget online, they have their webpage needs some stuff. So,
She's not answering you back.
there's no expenses in this anywhere that I can find.
Well, the only.
I remember talking to Ty PD, because they had 2 canines. Their care and maintenance for 2 dogs were $6,000. Evidently they had budget lines for everything else, overtime,
Right.
training, stuff like that, which will come out of the overtime budget, it will come out of the training, or the school budget, you know, that. But right now, a good dog will probably run you about $8,000, that's what I put a $9,000 capital expenditure. And that's gonna be,
Well, Pat, I guess nobody's listening to you, and
We're listening, we're absorbing it all.
And then you gotta get the enclosure in your vehicle, you gotta get, you know, air conditioning, that's another 10 grand or so, and that's what, you know, that's where.
Is that special air conditioning in the car?
yes. You gotta have special type of sensors, so that way it tells the dogs overheat, it kicks on the air conditioner,
Thanks.
sends you a warning type thing, get the dog out of that.
Didn't you tell us at the last meeting it was gonna be 5,000 to 6,000 to equip the vehicle? But
With the current vehicle we have, I would say between 5 and 8 for a cage. Now, that's just for the cage. I did not find any hard numbers to install it.
and the AC,
It's a one thing unit.
but you're saying it's $10,000.
I mean, basically, you just push it in there, plug it in, and you're good to go.
So it's not like some big robot car, it's just AC
I
unit.
mean, you gotta take the back seat out, you gotta take the cage out.
240 hours of overtime related to that, and what that,
And what about insurance?
you have to get your team out, have to insure it, and, that's probably not gonna cost you a lot extra, because the liability insurance is pretty cheap.
And we're not getting a patrol dog, which they call a dual purpose dog, so there's no bite into it,
Right.
which I'm pretty sure that will incur the insurance cost.
Yeah.
That thing, but it's not gonna be an attack. Single purpose, drug only dog.
but there could be a bite.
Could be, but.
Stick your hand close enough.
That's what I'm saying. It's the liability.
What called me like that was, the fact is, I don't know if how y'all are done, but they're having losing officers right and left because they can't pay them enough, and so it didn't seem much sense to pay a dog. And the expenses when they can't pay the officers enough money to stick around.
And the officer is willing to sign a 2 or 3 year contract, 2-step, because of the training. It's like, you know, Anthony, we pay for his academy, he has to stay for 2 years.
I thought it was 3.
I think it's 2, I don't know, but 2 or 3, same thing.
So we're talking about 25,000? Get it going? Dog training,
Well, yeah, but, I mean, granted, I got the training already. Cage.
dog.
Bo's not believing this.
Well,
I think it's a,
that's something we might need to chew on a little
I
bit.
think it's a different year.
We put it off last year too, though.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm not just trying to push the dog and everybody, but
Well, yeah, I want to
We got a drug
organization. Yeah,
we got a drug problem.
We've talked about the dog for like the last 3, 4 years.
I know.
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
I've always thought of it. I like it. I like the thought of it.
Oh,
If you can get the money to turn around and it's positive, that's where it's always
That's
the
right,
if.
that's the
this
thing.
is not a great
For,
money
can
either.
somebody dig up numbers on average revenue generated from a drug dog and throw that at us?
Well, had Coleman, they had a program,
They had a dog,
and
2 dogs.
was there drug interdiction?
The dog never once ever caught a single. They basically had the first dog was too aggressive, so they basically gave it to the first kid, and he just left. He quit. And the second one they got, they were in the middle of that, and they just didn't. This year with their tight budget, they just said, first of all, their chief didn't even present it to anybody. He didn't tell them he was going to keep doing the program. So they just felt like that they just couldn't afford it. I mean, what you said,
corridor that we do.
that's right, that's right. This is more of a corridor town from,
20.
All out of San Antonio.
yeah, I mean, so, I mean, it is, I mean, I'm not saying it's not justified. I just, like I said, it was a luxury that they couldn't afford this year. Obviously, what you're saying is right. I mean, if you can get an officer who will stay, that's first priority. That's a big thing. I don't know what your turnover is, but if you get somebody, you don't want them leaving because you're going to spend a lot of money training them. And the dog, of course, the problem is that the dog, once you, $8,000 for a typical dog, the problem is that once that dog gets used to that trainer,
Yeah, they can only be.
I mean,
So if we
pretty
do a
much
3-year contract.
3 years, he's gone, you're looking at buying that dog for $8,000.
It'd be
Right.
3 years.
And that's,
So we don't do a 3-year contract. Do 5.
Yeah, that's what I said, do a 5-year contract.
well,
What's the lifespan of the dog,
problem is
10?
it's hard to enforce that. I mean, if somebody leaves, I mean,
We're gonna take the dog?
yeah, I mean, all you can do is withhold their last paycheck, but you still gotta pay them minimum wage. So most average employee, you're not gonna get much money from them.
And he was talking about replacing a police officer with the dog, or we talked about that. As far as money wise, what if we, but you also want pay increases, you know, what if we don't hire any more cops or dogs and just increase pay?
Lots of different options.
I guess my question is, we're looking at this budget now, it's very tight.
This one,
Do we have the capacity with this tight budget right now to do this?
You got $81,000.
if it make
It's not
money,
in
it
our
would make
budget.
sense, but we
I know,
don't know if it'll make money.
You're correct.
We don't have that money in our hand yet.
We're projected.
Like I said, it's numbers on paper.
Right, for
If we had
81,000.
numbers on, if it brought money in, that might help. But if it's all expense,
Well, have we had any success with the sheriff and her dog? Why not? Is it because of the dog or?
I don't know.
So Winters does a bang-up job, that's all I know.
Yes.
yeah, the one
Be better
Winters,
asking Winters than getting Winters. Still be getting Don, but Winters dog works a lot more than Don.
I can't say Winters are tied.
They call him, they call Winters Ballinger.
yeah. Was that because of the
The
officer?
winners is in the same corridor we're in, they
Well, we need to make sure that
He's a
whoever our
crazy-
officer is.
Well, the one
That's what I'm trying
one of
to
the two we're talking about, is the one that they go after
For
first.
stuff that potentially can.
That's,
Well, what I can do is, I'll talk to Lisa and
Talk to
see,
Lisa,
see what her,
Stan, talk to
Paul,
Chief,
yeah,
or I don't know her name,
Paul.
Paul.
I'll talk to Lisa and
Try to run some numbers. I'd like to see what the income potential is. I mean, if it offsets, and it's,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, nothing's guaranteed. No income's guaranteed.
Yeah.
But
I mean, right now, we're sitting on a Jeep Cherokee and a travel trailer. It's in the middle of Cedars and it's been almost a year now. So,
Got it yet?
Do it.
No,
No, whatever.
no, we impounded a Jeep Cherokee and the little travel trailer. It's been sitting on our impound lot for a year. I don't know when
It's still in mitigation.
yeah, but
Safety report.
Well, so the income comes after all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that all works.
But it's probably gonna be the same way. If you seize any money, be the same way.
Sit there.
Because a lot of times, we'll go through the seizure process, but they don't want to settle on the seizure process because they can use it in the criminal case.
But you have total discretion over that, how serious.
Yeah, we have an agreement with the DA's office.
What I mean, are you, as the chief of the department, sole decision how those things?
So really, if that dog, it might not pay off till 2 years later after, the first payoff might not come for 2 years.
We need more information.
We're gonna need more information.
Like, I like the idea of a drug dog, I'm like you, because the drugs are everywhere. They're
I
in the
like the idea of it, but I don't
every
break the
day.
city over it either. So.
And I live in a good neighborhood, it's not like I'm,
Is it meth? What is the drug?
meth.
Yeah.
If it were
And
marijuana,
probably-
it wouldn't be a problem.
Got it all over. Just to be going down to Austin to get burritos. Now they go to everybody's garage and steal everything.
You're all around Jason's side.
Yeah, I'm covered up.
but it's gotta make sense, we're not in great financial shape, and it's gotta make sense. Now, if it brought some money in, then that might help it a little bit. As it sits right now without that information, I'm.
It'd probably be, listening to the numbers though, it'd probably be 2 to 3 years before we saw any return on investment.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll talk
It'll
to
be
you.
one bust in 3 to 6 months, or it could be one bust in 3 to 6 years.
Yeah, get some more info.
Gotta give it down dispatch anyway, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta
Gotta
keep
give
it.
it on this
Okay,
guy.
so what are we gonna,
And now we're gonna take the dog.
okay, good deal, let's move on.
The bust.
Dog, okay. New equipment. We have 12,000 slotted for that,
Where you at?
right under the K9 area maintenance. Well, today we spent 10,000, we had 12,000 budgeted last year. I'm not sure what you're planning for that, what was that?
We did purchase new pistols.
Yes. Okay, what do you have for next year?
Not sure.
Okay,
So,
Purchased what?
pistols,
You pissed
When
me.
was that?
through the year. He asked me about it earlier this year.
we went from a 45 caliber to 9 mil, which will cost on ammo, but, and then in turn, we can carry more ammunition on our body.
Right.
So instead of going, we carry 25 rounds, now we carry 50 rounds on each.
Right.
But additionally, what we did, we went ahead and budgeted or put it in last year at, I think it was 2,000, two guns a month or something like that, where we could gradually work it in instead of just doing it $8,000 or 7,500 or whatever it was. But we were working with your budget, trying to slide that in
Now, where was, what line item?
New equipment.
under new equipment.
New equipment.
Right.
When flashlights break all the time.
So,
So the 45s, we had what, 4 years out of them, 5 years?
Yeah. When Mark took over, I think it was 45.
Yep. Right before he left. One or the other.
but, let's see. So, what do we have planned for that, for this coming year?
I'll have to look at when these are replaced. We're looking at new bulletproof vests.
Right.
It's coming up here. I'm trying to think equipment wise.
Well, the vests have a certain lifespan, right? I think 3 years, and all of ours are coming due
Yes.
this year. So, that might be something else we do.
We need to get that on the staggered year, so we
So they
have
have-
all the vests at once.
Right.
So they do a 3-year?
3 to 5 years. There's no, because it's, the officers that wear them, depending on how much they sweat, how much they clean them, maintain them, stuff like that.
We didn't know that year that all the officers and law enforcement were getting shot at or something like that by demand. as a government thing.
Right.
So it's already been 3 or 4
They're
years.
every 3 to 5 years, which there's some, you know, like mine,
Well, see, if we start now at 3-year mark, then we can get 3 or 4 this year, and then 3 or 4 next year, and then 3 or 4, till we get everybody covered. That way we're not having to buy.
You can only have 6, 7, 3 or 4 once or twice.
Yeah. So, but that way we can stagger them out a little bit.
All right, let's go. Please.
Where we at?
Schools.
Schools, so some of that is K-9 money. What'd you say, about 5,000 of it is K-9?
Yes.
Okay. So. So it's the same as last year. Membership dues, same as last year. Social Security, I think it went up a little bit. Pension, health insurance. Okay, the year-end salary adjustment, we went over that. We're gonna get a new line item that says certificate pay. Loan payments, and these are for the loans for the cop scene, the computers, and the Tahoe, and the animal truck. Then capital expenditures, part of that was dog. Yes,
That was what,
part of that,
13,000?
no, part of the 5,000 that we had budgeted. No, pardon me.
No,
He was asking for 9,000.
yeah,
Part of that is dog.
okay, good. What was the 13,400 spent for?
we only spent around $2,000, $3,500.
Well, we,
That 10,000 is a clerical error.
okay. I'll run with that, because we had an error like in loan payments.
There's an error in that line, yeah,
Right.
negative number up there.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Thought.
Well, and I think Bo went in, and fixed everything in the actual system. We just haven't carried it over, some of its fixes to this budget. Okay, so if we stay with 5,000, without the dog, because that's stable anyway. So it'll bring us down a little bit this year versus last year. And that's the police department. Municipal court, everything stayed exactly the same. City hall and other buildings. Where it says city hall and other buildings, you have custodian and whatnot. We don't have any of that. We do have minor tools. Rick's favorite, the janitorial supplies, we went down a little bit on. Uniform allowance, phone stipend, stayed the same on the workman's, not the workman's comp, the insurance. This is the insurance for the building, not workman's comp.
We're gonna fix that line up.
For which one?
Just fix that line, that description of that line, that workers' comp.
Okay.
I mean, make more sense though.
Yeah, you will. On the workman's comp, where it says insurance and workman's comp, that's not workman's comp, it's actually just insurance on the building.
Both.
Both?
Well, we don't have anybody working there. Oh, okay, never mind. That's workman's comp if somebody gets injured on the premises.
Gotcha.
Okay, heat and lights, we have 9,000 budgeted, everything's the same here, except building maintenance. There was 21,000 scheduled or budgeted last year. We had talked about in the last meeting, 25,000. This does need a little work here and there, but we don't need to do it all this year, so we could do little bits and pieces and knock that down to 10. Went down on ground maintenance, the police station, and or police fire station building. We had talked about 20,000 on that because we have a potential roof leak up there. and I'm not real sure exactly what we're looking at. Getting, I mean, we need to totally reduce some of that.
It's extremely spongy.
Well, and some of that, we might,
Really?
some of it, we might need to talk to our insurance company about. Because typically, if you have a hail or something like that, you'll notice it. But on a flat roof, maybe not so much. So you don't notice it till it starts leaking. So that might be an insurance issue, which could add to this, but just to be sure, you know, we want to plug that in there. Shop and storage shed, this is basically numbers from last year. Social Security, all that's out. Bo, does that need to be checked?
Which one?
Social Security it's under City Hall and other buildings. I think we zeroed that out because we don't have any.
Yeah, because we don't have no salary.
Right. So basically, we're looking at $58,200.
Came down a bit.
Yeah, to 20,000.
Right, you jumped over Pioneer Plaza, we were at 4,000, we spent 11,129,
Yes,
and I thought we were okay to spend 5, and went 6 over.
yes. Well, I don't know if the income was out of that, because we paid and then she paid us our $5,000 back. So we may have overpaid a tad bit.
That's the bottom line.
Bottom line,
That's total?
Yeah.
So, we covered 6, she covered 5 of that? Okay.
We're like roughly 1,000 over.
Yep, that's cool.
yeah, and there was,
Didn't we get $4,000 worth of maintenance there this year though? I mean,
well, that
couple of
was,
leaks up there once in a while, heck, I've done that before.
well, that was what was budgeted for last year. I just plugged it in.
Yeah.
I doubt we'd do anything there.
Yeah.
So,
Think you might be able to still cut that back a little bit, if all you really, as long as, like, I use that occasionally for photography, and I take my leaf blower and blow it off for you. That's really all you need to do.
yeah,
I haven't been down there at night recently, but they finished all the lights and everything.
yes.
I mean, I'm just, if you think,
Let's plug in 2,000.
there'll be another little cut for you.
Yeah, no, everything's helping.
I mean, is there maintenance for the gazebo or,
Paint,
rockwood,
There's always gonna be a little something, you know, here and there.
grout,
You know, the
landscaping?
gazebo needs some work, that's for sure.
Yeah, but she can help. I mean, the state board can help with
She
that.
will.
Yes, she will. So,
Kids just did something to it like 2-3 years ago, repainted it and redid some stuff to it.
right.
That's a cool project.
Okay, non-departmental salaries, let's see. Economic Development Coordinator, we don't have anymore. Public Works, postage and supplies, everything's the same. Now you go to travel expense for managers, we went down, from 7,500 to 3,500. This dues for the municipal league from 4,000 to 25. Travel expense for economic development, we zeroed that out.
How come dues to the cog went down so much?
I do not know.
Because we didn't, I don't know.
Because it only spent 1,400
Now,
a
I
day.
spent 1,400 a day.
Wonder why they budgeted for it.
They built some fluff in this thing,
Okay,
which is, you know, if you have it, you can,
yeah,
you know.
okay.
Council travel expense from 65 to 3. Mayor and council, 1,500. Code enforcement expense, we set at 3,000. Everything's the same. Let's see. Some of the social security, health insurance, we kind of moved it around a little bit. We'll have to take that in a little better, but it's not going to move much. The chamber appraisal services contract, Reynolds County tax collection, the contingent fund. This is just a fund where this is kind of where we put our fluff. And we can knock that down or add to it. We had 10,000 last year.
But you're gonna, 23.
But you went up to 93, so
Yes,
we were gonna talk about that,
yeah.
like how it, how it should be done.
Did you get the details of that, Bo?
I did, but I didn't bring it in here. Mostly the Girl Scout hut and the billing system.
Some of the side projects, a little bit.
Oh, like the training system and stuff like that.
But we need to be doing budget amendments for those,
No, what?
right?
Really,
Drainage,
What drainage?
13th Street,
13th.
stuff like that.
Like I'm not
Yes.
opposed to what we spend it
No,
on,
no, we
but
do need to do budget amendments. That's
rather than
correct.
doing it this way.
Right, and
Oh, you still have to do the other stuff before you do the amendments. You still have to bring it to council before some of that.
Right, that's
Right.
what I mean, bring it to
Resolution.
council
Go through the process.
and then do budget
For what?
amendments.
What needs coming through us?
well,
Everything?
like if you're,
Anything that's out of budget,
right, that's why, see,
Gotcha.
you had a lot of stuff that we did that wouldn't in this budget. So it needs to come through here, and then typically you do a budget amendment. And we did one big one to account for a lot of this, so.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna leave that at 50, you want, back it off a little bit, maybe cut back some of the extra projects this year?
We can, I
back
mean,
to 10.
well, we
No, I
can,
don't, I'm just asking, yeah, if it needs to be at 10, and
you know, if we knock it down to 10, that leaves you 40, 80, $120,000 to play with.
Let's cut it down.
let's do that.
Did you get
We did a lot
120
this year, let's
Well,
cut it
that
down.
81, let's expect some other stuff earlier. We whittled away a few numbers,
Hmm.
and that just gave us 40,000 back. 81 and 40 is.
Okay. I didn't hear about
well, that's
some bigger math,
yeah.
that's new.
So,
Yes, okay.
library is 25. Cemetery, capital expenditures, I really don't expect any. Do we have anything in there, Bo? That you,
We only spent $63 last year, put it down to 1,000 again.
Yeah, put it down there, I mean,
let's do that.
what's that for?
Yeah, what, 1,000 is what I said, I mean, I don't know if that's stuff, but
No,
I just see that number up. You know, 3K for your pad.
Leave it to you guys.
Well, have
Oh,
fun.
pad, come on.
Oh, that's so funny, Pat.
I need lunch today. I
You
need
gotta go to a meeting, meet the restaurant.
Take care, Pat.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So Pat, thank you for everything.
So, yeah, set that to, there's another 1,000 on your pad there.
Okay, fire department,
What's your pad up to right now?
120 some odd. Just,
I'm just gonna keep trying to run it over here.
yeah.
We can get a rescue for 140, man.
All right, sorry.
Okay,
We only spent 33 on streetlights.
That's electricity.
So is this electric bill for the actual streetlights?
yes.
We expect to spend,
Well, yeah, but some of those bulbs, you gotta replace them.
Right, well, I mean, it'll be 45, because that was,
AEP does that, don't they?
right, they replaced
They
it.
replace the bulbs.
All right. We just got to pick it up, electric bill.
But, our bill will be around 45,000 for 12 months. That 33 was actually a 10-month period.
So is there a lesser electricity bulb we can use?
They're already putting them in. Every time one goes out, they put a new
They were
one in.
fixing like that for us.
That's by their standards. It's not our request. They do it by what they're told.
Fire department, we just kept the same total as last year. All the way down.
when we talked about credit,
That's in there.
Social security, yeah. Yeah, so same budget as last year. But they don't, the only thing they really have different is, I mean, well, they don't have anything really different, do you, as last year?
We've got that long time.
Yeah.
The budget capital.
Yeah. That was
Some of
good.
the extra stuff that we got in the line item for you was stuff that goes to repairs or annual
Right,
testing. So
right. Lake Park, that's about as low as it can go right there. 14,300. And that's cutting almost everything. Animal control. Okay, 39. Overtime, we trimmed up a little bit. And now, if you look on the right, actually, no, okay, 1,800 is what we talked about last time on the overtime.
Can we trim that
That
down
was-
to 1,000?
Well, no, that was with adding a person, I think. Now, we talked about 20,000 on getting a shelter helper, right?
2 shelters.
Right, so you'd have 2. And I went back down to 10 because, you know, that's, y'all need to tell me if that's what we want to do.
So we just have 1, or they just make less?
Right now, we just have 1 making 10,000. Okay, so if we have 2, they'll make a combined of 20.
Can we do it just 1?
I mean, we could,
We've been doing it.
no, we've had to,
We've had to.
yes.
Yeah, but for how long have we had 2?
I don't know.
See, we had a girl that was coming in after school, okay, and now I don't know this other person. When does she come in? Is she also a schoolgirl?
No. She's been here a couple months,
Right.
so.
One of them was leaving.
One of them's already gone.
I just said they had 2.
Well, we had, see, Heather Speckles was there. She's now going to college. It's kind of like the lifeguard deal.
Oh.
She's at college now. She won't be
I mean, if you'll end up having the,
raised
your
here.
water plant, if you only have 2 people,
Right.
you know. So,
Somebody's got to cover
you need that extra third person to help cover weekends.
What's Julie's hours, her set hours?
Person hours, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
She gets called out for dog bites and whatnot.
What if we made it compromise instead of 20,000, make it 15? That's somebody that just kind of helps him, relieves every now and then. Have 1 part-time, 1 extra part-time.
Well, I wish Pat had helped out. What would be the ramifications of getting, like, volunteers? I don't know.
That's
That'd be a tough one, because
That's,
kennel help.
yeah, you're getting into
That's
kennel
like
help,
the
you're getting
bottom of
into
it.
a facility that's part of a government entity that starts getting, I know Angela probably does it.
I mean, if you want to volunteer to help clean out.
Appraisal office has a volunteer.
Come down.
Do what?
Appraisal office has a volunteer. Government entity.
Yeah,
Pays off with that?
yeah.
Wow.
Angela has a lot of volunteers.
That might be-
Volunteers his wife, but still.
I mean, SPCA or whatever they're called, you know, they might, could go in and
There's a lot of people that call and say, hey, well, I want to volunteer. So sure, come on down.
Yeah.
Haven't seen
We got a
And so,
no, I understand that, especially,
when it's saying you cut it to 15, you're not even gonna get a good part-timer,
You're gonna get it, yeah.
not a good part-timer.
well, does your part-timer typically just work on weekends or?
She works during the morning shift and
Holidays.
on the evenings, coming out on the holidays, make sure they're all fed and cleaned up. So to speak.
So weekends and holidays, and on morning shift and holidays?
Yeah, so I mean, she'll come in and clean the kennels in the morning, feed, make sure everybody's good to go. And today she went from 8 to 12. So that's a typically normal.
All right, let's leave it at 20 for now and move on, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Leave it
We're
at
leaving
20.
it at 20.
Okay, oil, gas and flats, minor tools, we went down to 200. Yeah. And that was just based on, we've only done
What did we give
137.
the rest of them?
Yeah. Uniforms the same, cleaning supplies, everything's the same here.
Except for
Radio,
vehicle and replacing the box on the,
Replace what?
replace the box.
we had 15.8 to replace the box.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
And then, now, we had 8 last year, I just moved 8 over. So that'll be something you'll have to look at. Now, I think we went out on radio and zeroed that out because they use the phones. Is that a correct assumption?
Julie uses the radio.
Yeah, Julie uses radio.
Dispatch calls her on the radio.
So we need that line to replace the radio, need be batteries, whatnot.
So if we did away with the radio, could we take the 500 out?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Do away with her radio? Why would you do that?
Just use your cell phone.
No, she's called through dispatch.
Mhm.
So they call her on the radio, dispatch her to the location and take care of it.
well, so that or we'll have to get cops in for,
Yeah, and that's way more costly than $500.
yeah, I don't know that we'd want to do that.
Okay.
Building maintenance. we got-
500?
Yeah, 500, just leave it, or yeah, put 500 in there. Building maintenance, 3,000. Animal traps, we had 2,500. I'm assuming that was the front end purchase of a bunch of animal traps.
No, that's the TNR program.
Right, okay. So that's the whole program, not just traps.
No,
Correct.
yeah.
That's
I
the-
had
that's
that
the
same
vet.
question.
Okay,
What's the whole program?
okay, so I need to pour 2,500 back.
We don't want to do anything on building maintenance.
Well, we can get $120,000 now.
I thought you said you were at 3,000.
No, we're at 3,000 here.
Okay.
Your
But
pad
you're-
is up to 120,000.
Now you got $120,000 to play with.
Okay.
Training, 1,500, 3,000. Then you go to social security, hospital, pension, 20. And year-end salary adjustment, what is that gonna be?
That's just for the Christmas bonus. There's no, I don't think she has any type of certificate or anything like that. I haven't seen one for animal control. I don't think I have a master dog catcher.
Okay. So. So still under animal control. We're keeping the 20,000. Do we want to get a new box for 15,800?
Which line item is that one?
Backed up, so.
Under vehicle, if you back up a page.
Yeah, like 5121.
Yes.
Green line.
Oh, yeah. 39.
For 15,000. Can't get one any cheaper. Did we already ask Bill?
I mean, it's between $8,000 and $15,000. I mean,
That
they're
thing,
up there.
the construction is fiberglass, is that right?
The ones that I'm looking at have been steel, stainless steel. The fiberglass ones, what I've read up on, they tend to bend.
Well, I'm asking what we have now.
It's stainless steel.
And it's over 20 years old, isn't it?
Yeah, Bob purchased that
Yes.
a long time ago.
20,
The original box that I.
20, 25 years old?
Get that right,
It's been
Stan.
through at least 3 vehicles that I know of. This is the 3rd vehicle now.
Can we make it another year with it? Can we split that up into 2 years? Saying we're really poor.
Really what?
We're
We could-
really poor.
You could ask, but I don't know that, I mean, it's like playing the lottery.
Put it in enterprise rental car, purchasing and buy golf truck, fit it up. I mean, they do that?
Is the grant?
Can't hurt to ask.
We already
Is the
have
fast track for
a
that?
truck.
Well, I'm saying, maybe it's cheaper to,
Oh,
budget-wise, to get a new truck and just pay yearly.
I haven't
To look
seen
at.
any ones anywhere either, truck.
no, you gotta find a wore out too.
Well, that's, we'll find exactly what we got. I've seen some, but they were pretty rough.
So, question still stands.
We got $120,000 to play with.
Yeah, we need to be putting it in reserves, so.
We do. We should do. Well, it would be nice to
We
know the
need
reserve
streets,
fund.
we need reserves, we've got big bond payments coming out,
So-
unforeseens.
I agree with that.
Can we
Unforeseen.
Trying to
make a list of
Hopefully not in.
the, like the dog, so another meeting and another piece of paper and look at totals, take our pad.
I mean, this is a budget, we can adjust it, we can make a budget amendment.
Right. But I'm saying like, next meeting, we're not gonna finalize this, next budget meeting. Have a list of our wants. And
Let's
see
go
where
for needs, wants, with.
see where they might fit into our padded area.
Right.
And cross some out, add some up, move it around and, 'cause it's hard to say, I'd love to do everything, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't wanna eat our pad up
right,
all the way because we don't have a lot to play with.
right.
It's hard, it's really disappointing.
All right, we'll go to street department. Let's see. We've gone down a little bit. Well, if you look to the right, we're at 245. That's the same. We went down. Overtime. What do you want to do? Cut it in half?
Yes.
street department overtime, yep.
Okay, so let's do 1,000, 1,500.
It's gonna fit in there.
Okay. We got sidewalk improvements at 3,000. We can knock that down.
Especially if we get that grant,
Yeah.
that can be,
Well, maybe that 3,000 could be the match that we use.
yeah. 2,000?
Yes. Office supplies, we spent about $100. Probably want to keep that at 1,000. Gasoline flags,
We spend a lot.
they do. Minor tools, here's our opportunity.
Tell them, Rick,
Did,
Cut down minor tools to what?
10.
Everybody good with 10?
8?
8? Let's
We
start.
want to
Don't
have
hurt them.
a need,
Exactly.
but
Make them be more.
This is where you set your goals, right? So 8,000.
15.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Safety equipment, I put in 4,500.
No, I say. So did we do 10 on minor tools?
We did 8.
For the entire street department, that's a lot, isn't it, Tommy?
It probably is, but if we start coming close to 8, we can,
Budget adjust?
Change it from 15 to 8.
yes, ma'am.
I take it you're talking about minor tools.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Uniform allowance, we stayed the same. Everything.
You jumped over safety equipment.
No, we talked about it.
Okay.
We went to 45 on it. Let's see, the next change should come up under truck and equipment. Bo, is this part of our payments, or is that coming under the capital expense?
That's in the capital expenditure.
Okay. Is this gonna be trucks and equipment
Repairs.
repairs?
Can we make it say that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, change the description on that line,
Truck and equipment repairs.
please.
Radio, Street signs, we jumped our budget up a little bit for that because we got a program going. Recycling center expense, we're just trying to meet what we did last year. Recycling attendance, training, asphalt and caliche, we stayed the same. Trash hauling, I think this is our, the 3% increase, is that right, Bo?
Yes.
That we're gonna be facing this year. Next page, yeah, capital expenditures. We had 120,000 last year. We're looking at 120,000 this year.
And what are they?
I think these are all the equipment payments and everything. Incidentally, the BOMAG roller will come off this year, and we won't be, I think it was a $15,000 payment that we made every year.
What did you say? Oh, my, what?
A roller, the big steel roller, steel roll, steel wheel
Steel
roller.
wheel.
And then the bulldozer.
Yeah.
Bulldozer comes off this year, and that's a $16,000 payment. So that'll be $30,000 that we could actually apply towards, I believe it's the pickup and the dog catching car, because those payments are like $9,000 a year. And so if you applied 20,000, you know,
Through the snowball here?
right, then you could possibly, that'd be 3 payments that you're knocking out this year. That's kind of the goal that we're looking for there.
What about other equipment though, that's already in that department?
I mean, hand it off.
Well, there's other payments out of this. You're telling us about the two.
Oh, well, yeah, no, you could do that. I mean, yes, you could. I was just looking at the lowest thing on the tree, or the next highest thing. You know, you're knocking out $30,000 a year.
I think the dozer, isn't it 47?
It was, but this year, it's only 16,000. This is the last payment, is what I have. And, so that would be the dozer done, the BOMAG roller.
Typical snowball payment plan is going from your smallest to your largest.
Right. And see if I can, you know, if you could knock out a couple of $10,000 and knock something else out. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to come out the same budget. I'm just looking at the low hanging fruit.
Well, you're saying these two are coming out of that. I was asking what else is in there that's coming out of that? What else is still getting paid on?
Oh,
I know the roller, the dozer, is the maintainer paid for?
yes, the maintainer's paid for. We're still paying for the haul truck.
Haul truck?
Yeah, and,
The brush truck.
yes, the brush truck. Let's see,
Haul truck, brush truck. What was the other one?
the haul truck.
In other words, the roller gets paid off
Dozer.
and the dozer gets paid off. So then we have the haul truck and the brush truck. What else?
Pickups?
Huh?
The pickups?
Yeah, we got pickups on there, the vehicles. And that's probably about it. The rest of them, we got a fire truck, and then the police have 3 payment, or 3.
That's all in other departments. I'm talking about the
Right.
street department after this one.
Yeah. So that's where we are there. Cool. All right.
3 more pages to go.
Yeah.
And I can get another bottle of water when we start.
I'm making sure you're okay.
Okay, City Park. Unitary sticks, there's no park attendant helper, all that's zeroed out. On gas, oil, and plastic, 2,000 for 25. We cut minor tools in half. Uniform, I think, we have 500 plugged in there.
Where we at now? I'm sorry.
City Park,
City
page
Park.
1013.
Okay.
Let's see. Heat and lights, we got 5. I imagine, does that need to be 75 or 5?
I was probably,
Okay. Truck repairs, 500. We cut some of the social security, hospital, and pension because we don't have a helper. Unemployment tax, mowing equipment. We got 1,600 in there.
What you want to spend 225?
Yeah, but,
Probably go to 1,000.
yeah, we'll go to 1,000.
Now, is that purchase or is that repair?
Well, I was thinking repair, but,
That's what I'm asking.
yeah, yeah.
Because repair, I can see that.
Right.
That's not gonna work.
No, no. Signs, we got 500 in. We hadn't, it's all the same. Let's see, trees and shrubs, I went to 1,500. We've had some trees die. Wouldn't hurt to probably add some every once in a while. And honestly, you can get them from
Arbor Day.
the Arbor Day Foundation or the county maybe.
They're very inexpensive.
So we could move that to 5 if you wanted. You want to move that to 5 or keep it at 1,500?
750.
There you go, 750.
Oh, yeah, go for the
Okay. Go ahead, Donovan.
Grounds maintenance. We spent 3,000. I just plugged in 3. Pavilion maintenance, 500.
What do you have to do to maintain this?
Pavilion,
Paint.
nothing really, but yeah, paint, maybe electrical every once in a while.
Even rusty.
We haven't spent anything on it this year, but,
You came to mind.
dog park. We got 3,000.
But once it's complete, that really should drop a whole lot, right?
Well, the Rotary Club is giving 5,000,
For the initial
for everything.
building.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much done. We're gonna keep the fence that we got. They're gonna add some benches and dog stuff, but all that's coming out of the Rotary Club, $5,000. Plus, I think Lions gave them 200 or 500. They raised some money, so everything else is gonna be on them.
So what's the 3,000?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think after the initial, though, the 3,000, there's not much.
We already spent 4,000 disassembling the whole thing.
Right.
So what are we gonna need the 3,000 for after they get through?
It's hard to say what we're gonna need, because it's gonna be our first go at it.
yeah, mowing and weed eating and picking up there.
Yeah, yeah.
So we wanna knock this down to 500? 15?
They should put one of those baggies on there until people pick up their own.
Yeah.
Boy, we
I
are.
think, yeah, I think that's where the plan,
Yeah,
15, I think.
15.
Okay.
they can't be that expensive to mow it.
Well, no, I don't think that's the mowing part of it.
Make the supplies and,
I mean, cause,
Yeah, there's gonna have to be some few supplies and stuff in there.
Right.
They should,
right.
you know, we're going blind here now. We just have to pick a number together.
Swimming pool. Let's see. Everything is, well, let's see. We have merchandise for resale. We went up because this year it cost us more than we budgeted, but we made money on it. So we made a profit on what we made, on what we purchased.
right.
Minor tools, it went up, but we had a little issue.
Yeah, they should I can understand.
Yeah. Swimming pool improvements, 10,000 was budgeted last year. I just plugged in 10,000 this year. Some chemicals are at 20.
So you're not gonna bring the improvements down?
Well, we can.
Well, I'm asking, you've been bringing everything else down, so I was asking about that.
No, it can't hurt. We're paying attention.
Yeah, let's do 5.
Where we at?
Swimming pool, improvements.
Improvement?
56.
Well, what was your plan for the 10,000?
Well, I just carried it over from last year. I don't know I mean,
We're gonna buy a
now,
slide or,
You ain't buying a big slice of $5 or $10,000.
no.
I think this was with,
Sound, isn't it? Don't you think I understand that?
A restroom or something.
yeah, that was,
Was that
last
the
time we talked about
That's right, we were talking about,
Say it 10 times.
Yeah,
Upgrading that restroom?
but I think the restroom was falling under building maintenance.
Yeah, yes.
Because we got 15,000
Oh,
broken into
yeah.
that.
Okay, I'm fine with leaving it.
So if we move that to
Those
5,
diving boards.
right. So if we move this to 5,000 instead of 10 on swimming pool improvements. Leaf chemicals,
I mean, we can always move these up next year, but have a year
Right.
of really conservative spending. If you do better, then,
wouldn't hurt to have a conservative year.
right,
yeah.
Nope.
15,000. Everything else is the same.
Capital expenditure.
Yeah. We spent 2,635. I don't know of anything that we need to purchase for that. Filters would fall under something else.
Well, that's gonna be your swimming pool improvements or maintenance.
Right. So,
It's really not your filters, it's the media that goes in the filters.
right. So we want to knock this down to 2,500?
I think that's plenty.
Chairs and stuff.
Community center,
So did we make money on the pool this year?
no.
Never.
Did we break even?
No.
How much did we lose? I'm going down the line.
Just don't look. I'll tell you what JB Peters said.
64,000.
If you don't have a pool, you increase your police department.
18,000.
With your pool, you decrease your police
It's a
department.
service we give to our citizens.
Right, what'd you
And an
say,
expense to
Ballinger?
us.
64,000 expense at 18,000 revenue.
48,000 is,
It costs, let's say roughly $50,000 to operate the pool.
Roughly make 20.
Right. Now, next year, if we want to look at increasing the price to get in from $2 a person to 4 or something like that, but I don't know how well the public's going to take that.
You'll have a less crowd,
Well,
well, maybe we can come up with some other revenue.
buy a big slide,
Forms.
put more people in.
Well, they're optional, but add-on type things to the pool. They can still swim through. Anyway,
Community center,
we fire the custodian?
well, the custodian was the same as the janitor here, right? And they would go clean up the community center on the weekends. We have the street department doing that
Do
now.
they do the bathrooms?
They do, and some of it's not great, but,
Yeah,
uh,
because it doesn't take very long for a bathroom to go downhill and
that
become
is,
a gas station bathroom.
that is true.
Not all gas stations are bad.
Yeah, they're not all that.
Let's see, look at the page.
I'm gonna go check.
Everything else, let's see, seems to be the same. So we're actually down over last year. Administrative. Okay, overtime we'll go down to like 1,000.
You're still keeping running total on your pad over there?
Not really, I'm just right at 120,000 on the bigger stuff.
You gonna go down to what on overtime?
1,000,
Down 1,000? So
No.
it'd be
Down
4,000?
to
Total of
1,000.
$1,000.
$1,000.
All right, that's easy. Right.
Postage and office supplies stay the same. We went the same all the way down there.
On the telephone, I mean, I know our telephone, we're gonna have some cost up front. Where is that gonna pull from all the different department budgets for telephone for that payment? Okay.
Yes.
So, but then after that initial payment, the zeros out
Right.
across the board, except stipends.
Right. Yeah, we keep the stipends.
Yeah, that gets a little more. I mean, really, at the end of the year, we should say $6,000 or $7,000 this year, just like on.
Put it in the reserve fund.
Yeah.
Let's see, we went up, we plugged in 4,500 for elections.
Is that enough?
Elections, where are we?
Last page?
Last page. 5195. Let's see.
We're coming up?
Yeah. It just goes up higher when you have runoff, or we shouldn't have runoff.
The runoff jumps up to 64.
Yeah.
And then that finishes us out. We
All
had
the fault rate.
revenue of 3,234,000 and at the time, expenses of, so that left us a balance of about 81,000. Now, since we changed it a little bit, I'll have to calculate some of the totals, but we got a little more fluff.
If we do a rollback rate.
Yes.
Went there at the meeting, so.
Don't know that. Hadn't thought about that far ahead, Bob. Yep.
When's the next time we can meet, Bo?
Thursday. Friday.
We couldn't meet on Thursday anyway. We would have to post it today.
Is there a football game Friday?
I don't,
I think it's just a scrimmage.
A scrimmage? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's an actual football. They just started today, so it could be a couple weeks into it, I imagine.
I didn't look at my schedule. I'm about to tell you. Next game is Thursday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. against El Dorado.
That's a scrimmage.
And it's a scrimmage. That's going to be on Thursday.
That's on Thursday.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm looking at the right year. Yeah, 2019 varsity football, Thursday, 22nd.
That's what I have.
Okay.
This year.
So Friday,
Probably couldn't hurt.
what time?
Let me look at my to-do list.
Friday the 23rd?
Yeah. That's what we need to do.
5:30?
Everybody's all right with that?
Go forward, as far as I know now.
5:30, Friday. Yeehaw. All right, motion to adjourn?
Most of it,
Second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.